What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls podcast. Coming to you live from the Legacy Club on the 60th floor of Circa Resort and Casino. That's right. We still here in Vegas. CHGO Bulls Summer League coverage presented by our friends at Shady Rays. Go to shadyrays.com. Use that promo code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of premium polarized shades. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. Joined by my guys, Big Dave, BAM! BWL Sports, Will, the GOAT, Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb, and our guest of honor today. He's been in Vegas since Wednesday night, and he is still giving us his time, despite the fact that he's probably ready to go home and catch his flight later today.
Correct.
Y'all out there at Bulls Nation know him and love his work. It is the one and only Darnell Mayberry of The Athletic. Darnell!
Appreciate y'all having me.
Thanks for coming on,
Thank
man.
y'all. Appreciate it. Nice to be here.
Wellness check. Day 4 in Vegas. Day 5 or 6
day
for
5,
you.
yep.
How's everybody doing? We okay?
Security literally checked in on me
Yeah?
in my room. Yeah, because I didn't know that if you had the privacy sign on for more than 24 hours, they come and check on you. So they were knocking on my door, banging it, and I didn't think it was my door. So they just opened it, and I'm like, "Whoa, what the heck?"
Got to put the latch on, Dave.
Oh, it was on. No, the latch was on, and they opened the door and tried to push it open, and I was like, "Whoa!" I walked out, and I was like, "Hey, bro, what's what I do?" And they were like, "No, we're just checking, making sure you're okay, you're fine." I was like, "Bro, I just been passed out."
That's honestly a really good thing that they do here.
Another great feature that we've learned about Circa Resort Casino.
Yeah.
It lets you know
Wellness
how it
checks.
goes. Yes.
Just to be safe.
How you hanging in, Darnell?
Good, man. I mean, Summer League is always a good event every year, and the Bulls have some players that we're interested in, and it's good to see everyone, all the co-workers, colleagues throughout the country. So I don't gamble like y'all, though, so I'm leaving with some money in my pocket. You know what I mean?
Darnell's leaving and not going to be homeless when he gets back to Chicago. We'll see how we do in our last
Smart
night.
human being.
So let's start by just getting a couple of your quick thoughts on what we saw in those first 2 Summer League games, Darnell. Obviously, Dalen Terry, primary focus, second season of Summer League for him. Bulls fans wondering if he's going to crack his way into Billy's rotation next season. Obviously not a great display with his shooting efficiency in those first 2 games, but did show some things, creativity offensively, did knock down some threes, played some solid defense. What do you think about Dalen's first 2 games?
I think I'm the president of the Dalen Terry fan club, and I pay a lot more attention on what he can do versus what he can't do. So everyone's looking at the shooting and the playmaking being inconsistent. I look at the defense. I look at the leadership that he's showing with these young guys, and I'm saying he's still only 20 years old. He didn't play very much at all as a rookie. I think only 214 minutes. So if you give him time and let him develop, I think he's going to be okay in the long term.
I completely agree with
You don't think it's a problem? You know, you see other guys, second-year players like Ryan Rollins had like 17 points in the last game. Do you don't have a concern with him like not being able to, scale up and take on more of a primary playmaking role and really dominate against some of these younger players?
I don't have any concerns with Dalen Terry right now. I mean, he hasn't played. He's young. And he's going to get better. If you look at some of the things that he's able to do defensively, grabbing the rebound and pushing in transition, finding the open man, he has some real skills that I think will translate in time. And he's supposed to be working on his shot out here in Summer League. He took like 7 threes in that second game, only made like 2, I believe. But
3 for 9.
3 for 9. There you go. So it's like this is the time where you want him to work on those things and develop and get better. And so I have no problem with what Dalen Terry is doing right now.
I completely agree with you on that, man. The playmaking is what I really like the most about it, the passing.
Yeah.
Like you said, the one play where he got the steal, gets the outlet pass for the easy layup to Darling. I almost jumped out my seat for that, but those are the things I want to see continue him to work on. But the one thing that did kind of concern me a little bit was the ball handling. I still think he needs to shore that up a little bit. Is there any other part of his game you think he just tighten up?
I agree with you on the ball handling, but the thing is he's not going to be doing that with the Bulls. True. And so, again, this is a setting where he should be allowed to work on that skill set, but he definitely needs to tighten it up. I think John Bryant, the Bulls Summer League coach, made a great point and observation when he said Dalen has done his job when he brought 3 defenders. Now he needs to just trust a teammate. When he's playing in a crowd too much, that's when he gets himself in trouble, gets those turnovers in high bunches.
Yeah, especially when he's attacking the rim and he's not exactly sure how he's going to get from point A to point B when he's attacking the rim, and he just gets lost in a cluster of defenders in the paint.
And speaking of getting to the rim, he can get there, but I think he needs to work on finishing a lot more. I mean, his finishing ability should be better than what it is. He got blocked by Moses Brown. And, it's like he needs to learn how to finish better when he's at the rim.
Yeah, I think we always talk about with young players, they need to put on muscle, they need to put on strength. I found him to be like trying to finish through contact a little bit more as opposed to like the handle. I think, Dave, what you're saying, to be able to get around guys and finish around or past, I think that's like the biggest area where he can really improve, and I think the ball handling is really where that's going to come from.
Yeah, once he gets that a go-to move, you know what I mean? Like that 360 layup we talked about that he missed, that almost everybody off. Like, I want him to get to a point where he just got, a finishing move. And that's just stuff that comes, with reps and time, and he's definitely going to put in that work because his work ethic is insane. So, yeah, I'm not really too concerned about it.
We finally got a look at Julian Phillips for the first time in their second game on Saturday, Darnell. I believe 24 minutes off the bench for the kid from Tennessee. We got a chance to hear from him after the game. He didn't really have a huge impact on the Bulls' efficiency. Only took 2 shots, made one of them, scored 2 points, had a handful of turnovers. It's just his first summer league game for a second-round draft pick rookie, but what did you think of that first appearance from Julian Phillips?
Polar opposite of my thoughts on Dalen Terry. I was not impressed at all. And I got some hot takes to get off if y'all want.
Get them off, Darnell.
Ready to be critical.
It was not.
Nothing's out of bounds with CHGO, man. Speak your mind.
It was not a good debut. I mean, he's got a 43-inch vertical, and he didn't show us a single play where he showed off that athleticism. And I'm thinking, at what point do we see that? He was just out there floating. He didn't make an impact. He didn't impose his will on the game. And for the Bulls to give up 2 second-round picks in the future to get him, to move up to get him, you wanted to at least see him have some activity out there and make his presence felt, and he just didn't do that at all.
And his AAU coach talked about that. He said he's not an alpha dog kind of guy. He's not going to get out there and, create his own shot, do those things. He's more of a within the flow of the offense kind of person. But like you're saying, in the summer league, you kind of want to see him do that just to showcase that talent. Like you said, that athleticism.
Right.
Man. You got to see it one time at least.
The rebound, I mean, he had 4 rebounds, and I think all of them just came right to him. He wasn't going in there battling in traffic. He just didn't do anything. Like, even when he got the ball on dribble handoffs, he made 1 or 2 dribbles and passed it right back out.
Yeah.
It just, and then, like you said, 2 shots, that's not acceptable.
Nah.
And you asked him after the game, do you typically play this timid?
Right.
Or do you, go after it and try to, like, impose your will? And I think he would like to think that he's a little bit more aggressive, but obviously it's only 1 summer league game, but that was just not who he was.
Hopefully he makes me look stupid tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Nothing
because
better
if he
than when a player makes you look stupid
If
as
he
a
does
writer.
this again tomorrow, I'm killing him. I'm just telling you.
Do you agree with what we heard from AK on draft night, though, that you see at least potential for his physical tools to be solid in the NBA, when AK was talking about him being a multi-positional defender with his size, his length, and that, leaping ability? AK was saying this guy can play at the NBA level on the defensive end right away.
And that's probably why my expectations were so high. AK said that.
Yeah.
No one asked him, hey, can this guy play right away? He came out and provided that unsolicited. So, and we didn't see that at all. I mean, there was times where he had opportunities to go out and make a play. I asked him about 2 specific chase down block opportunities that he had, and he didn't even challenge them. So that's when I would like to see him use that athleticism, use that so-called defensive ability, but we've yet to see it.
Yeah, it feels like a mental move for him right now.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to figure it out.
Exactly, exactly. Let me ask you about Justin Lewis, man. What do you feel about it? Is it just he's snake bitten right now, or is this? I don't want this to follow him his career, like he's injury prone kind of guy, because we haven't even gotten to really enjoy him, as a player, man. So what are your feelings on him?
I like Justin Lewis's tools. I like his potential. I'm hoping he's not just an injury prone type of player. I mean, that sprained ankle, whatever they're going to call it or label it as, was a fluke injury. He made a nice spin move, made a nice finish, and then I think just landed on someone's foot. But hopefully that's not significant and doesn't linger, because you want to see him get back out there Tuesday and continue on this road to recovery from that ACL injury, because he does have just physically, 6'7", 6'8", thick, great size for his position, and athleticism too. So I think he has tools that the Bulls are trying to blend in with this roster: defensive ability, athleticism to surround DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic with. And if you put him in the right system to develop, I think he's got a lot of potential to become something that you can use.
Let me ask you this. This is kind of like a larger, big picture question. You talked about Julian Phillips.
Yep.
Dalen Terry only playing 214 minutes. Justin Lewis, obviously had the ACL last year. But as far as the Bulls' ability to find and draft guys and then develop them through the Windy City system, through their own, what's your stance on how they've been doing with that so far? where you think they can do better, and if it's even possible to do both the try to win now thing with DeMar and Zach and Vooch, but also give, guys like Patrick and Kobe and Ayo the runway to be able to develop alongside those guys.
Yeah, I don't think they've done a good job of it in the G League so far, in using that system. And it's very difficult to do in the NBA, as you said. I mean, we saw at the break they benched Ayo and Patrick Williams out of the starting lineup and moved them to the bench. So it's a very delicate balance that you have to do when you're trying to develop and win at the same time. And I just don't know if it's possible. And now that they're bringing in so many of these young guys, they're going to have to try to develop them better than they've done.
It is, because the space is open for them on this team, and that's what makes it so glaring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you can see what these guys can. You know what Justin Lewis can fit in, what Dalen, Julian Phillips. You like, oh, there's a space for you here, but they're just haven't been ready, whether it's injury or mental or game wise. It just hasn't.
And
to the
you
floor.
talk about the failure of development at the G League level. I mean, their second-round pick from a few years back, Marko Simonovic, who played a million games for the Windy City Bulls over the last 2 seasons, just got waived right before the deadline of his contract being fully guaranteed as we were making our way out to Vegas. And Bulls fans were wondering, like, dude, why is this guy here? Mostly it's just a joke, hashtag Marco hours, but Marco hours are when the Bulls are up big or down big in the last 3 minutes of a game.
Shout out to Marko Simonovic.
Best of luck to wherever you're going to play basketball, not in a Bulls jersey. But yeah, I mean, it's a valid question. The person from G League who I've most enjoyed recently is watching Jevon Freeman-Liberty over the last couple of days. I mean, it's not like his name has been on Bulls fans' radar. It's like, is this guy going to come out of the G League and actually be an NBA player? Right. Some of the other second-round picks, whether it's Ayo, Marco, and now Julian Phillips, where do they go in this system while they are trying to do this win-now thing?
And I'm also looking at Billy Donovan and wondering how much just falls on him. I mean, he only played Dalen Terry 214 minutes. He's yo-yoing these guys in and out of the lineup, Ayo, Kobe, Patrick Williams to a degree. So the coaching staff has to be able to trust the young guys to go out there and develop and make plays next to the star players on this team.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, man, like you talked about Jevon Freeman-Liberty. He's the one that stood out for me to most.
Yep.
His game has really changed. Like, it's more confident now, and he's got a shot. Like, he can get to his spot and get his shot. What have you seen watching him play? Because he's been, running the point, doing the two, all of that. But he's really, just shown out scoring, like, 20-something a game?
24 points on 15 shots.
Awesome, man.
It's funny. Sam Smith asked me the other day against the game they played against Memphis, why isn't Jevon Freeman-Liberty on the NBA roster? I said, he's not good enough. He said, but what do you think he needs? I said, I don't know. I haven't evaluated him. I'm not here for Jevon Freeman.
And then after the game, Sam also asked Jevon, why aren't you on an NBA roster? Like, I don't know, man.
But I agree with you, Dave. He does show a lot more skills and development than we've seen. Yeah. He looks a lot more confident. The shot, and I do like the way Dalen Terry found him in space, driving, kicking a couple times in that second game. And he knocked down those shots with confidence. He's getting to the rim with confidence. The lob he finished, I didn't know he had that in him. He's doing a lot of things out there so far in Summer League.
But we've seen, back to the larger question that I asked about, is it possible to develop and also win now? And we've seen teams like the Warriors who kind of had that vision for themselves, and they gave up on it. They traded Jordan Poole, traded Wiseman. Kuminga's really the only guy left. And for Jevon, it's like, you have to be so good to have the ball in your hands at the NBA level the way that he does at the Summer League level or at the G League level. I don't know if he can sort of scale down and play next to a Zach or DeMar, but that's where I think the role for Dalen is much different than it will be at the NBA level, and why I'm kind of with you that like the concern that I have, or I'm not as concerned about him, not scoring 25 or 30 points because that's just not who he is. That's not the role that he's going to be asked to do. Now he needs to develop the jump shot and be able to play off of that. And 3 for 9 is great. I was very excited to see that, but I just think he's got a ways to go in order to like really be a part of that rotation. But I want to see him get more of a chance. And I think that's where the questions about Billy's rotation and like can he play, can he develop? It's going to be interesting to see next year.
And then also AK and Mark Eversley didn't do him any favors this summer by going out and getting Jevon Carter and Torrey Craig. Right. I mean, now I'm looking at Billy Donovan, but his bosses just got players in free agency over the young guys that they already have. So Ayo's still out there as a restricted free agent. You got Dalen Terry, who's eager to get minutes next season, but now you've got some veteran guys coming in here who are going to make that damn near impossible. You know, did AK make a mistake by drafting him 18th overall and then going out and signing Torrey Craig instead of just trusting his 18th overall pick?
Yeah. I mean, between Zach, DeMar, Caruso playing forward positions a lot, now adding Torrey Craig, like where is Dalen getting minutes?
Right.
It's hard to see. Speaking of Craig and Carter, we'll get Darnell's thoughts on those Bulls free agent additions and just how much they might actually move the Bulls' needle towards being a playoff team again next season. We'll also touch on this ludicrous NBA in-season tournament that we heard about when we arrived in Vegas and get y'all's thoughts on that. We'll take our first break while we're sharing our words from our friends and sponsors. Do us a simple, easy favor. Hit that thumbs up button if you're watching along with us on YouTube. Helps us out a lot. We really appreciate it. And, of course, make sure you all also are subscribed to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel to get alerts every time we go live. Big Dave, who's up first today?
So Baby Joey just told me.
Baby Joey?
Yeah, he said he sent the security in my room.
Oh, well, that was kind of checking up on you.
All right,
Yesterday he sent you lozenges.
Yes.
And
he was
then,
concerned.
And then there was a security wellness check.
Yes. And I was like, why you do it like that, man? He just said they never understood.
Never understood.
They ain't get it. Why? All these glasses so expensive. Baby Joey don't understand. And nobody up here gets it. And Shady Rays didn't get either. So they did something about it. Independent Sunglasses Company offers world-class product just as good as any expensive pair you ever put on your sexy face. Durable frames, extremely clear optics for your outdoor, and as this man is proving right here, your indoor adventures as well. And, of course, the Matt Peck Lost and Broken Replacements plan. Hat gets thrown, because that's what he do. Shout out to Throne Hat in the comments. Love you. But that's what he do. Glasses might be on it. They might break, go splat. Guess what? He can send them to Shady Rays right back on his face. Brand new pair. No questions asked. Oh, very nice. I like that. Also, let's say you got a style that you saw that you like. You were looking at the GOAT. You were looking at the coiffness, and you thought you could pull that off. And then you got the glasses on your face that said you could not. One, I could have told you that. Two, you can send those glasses right back in and get a pair that fits you and your style. As long as you do it in 30 days, it is free. No risk when you shop, and they always got your back. So, Scooby, for listeners out there, Shady Rays getting away with the best deal of the season. Go to ShadyRays.com. Use the code CHGO for 50% off of 2+ pairs of premium polarized shades. Back.
Try it for yourself!
Oh, the shades that are rated 5 stars for over 250,000 people. Because the Shady Rays, what a rays, are also shady.
Oh, man, those were so necessary at the Stadium Swim yesterday. That Vegas sun is bright
Cooking
AF.
Cooking you.
My goodness. You know what else is necessary?
Please tell me.
Calling the fine folks at ComEd to learn about how you can lower your energy costs.
You are brilliant, Matt.
And energy-saving efficiencies
Yes.
are right around the corner waiting for you with ComEd's energy efficiency program, committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage that energy usage and lower your energy bills now and into the future. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across their vast territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, and industrial processes. Darnell, you're probably thinking to yourself, that sounds great, Peck, but can you please tell me just exactly how this works?
Of course he's thinking that. And that's why he's looking at you, because he wants the answer.
He's
Please
confused.
tell
He's
us.
waiting.
I'm
You
going
wanna know.
to explain it to him right
School
now.
him, man.
Are you ready for it?
Let's go.
An authorized engineer works with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and your needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Then, within 3 to 4 weeks, customers receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects they can start working on right away. Each recommendation includes estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback plans. If you own a business, 1, congratulations. That's not easy to do.
Shout out.
2, don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips, lighting incentives, and to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz. Did you catch that website, Mr. Gottlieb?
Was that ComEd.com/poweringbiz?
That's correct. ComEd.com/poweringbiz, B-I-Z-biz. Schedule your appointment today. All right, guys, let's quickly touch on the in-season tournament because we got some more details about it. Did you guys see that video that they made Richard Jefferson do talking about this that went viral on Twitter? It's hilarious. He was trying so hard to hype this up. The NBA is trying so hard to hype it up. I believe our pal Juan in the comments yesterday was asking about it. In case you missed it, the Bulls Twitter page and posted something with the specific parameters. Marissa, I don't know if you have that graphic you could throw out there right now. Thank you very much. Okay, so all 30 NBA teams participate, being split into 6 groups, 3 in the East, 3 in the West. And each of these games also counts toward your regular season 82-game record. The quarterfinals will be made up of the 3 group winners from each conference and then 1 wild card from each conference, the team that didn't win their group but had the best record amongst teams who didn't win their group. Semifinals then are played along with the championship game in Las Vegas, where we are right now. Woj specified in a tweet that stats count towards their regular season stats, except for the championship game. Bulls in the East, Marissa, if you have that other graphic with the groups, as you see in Group C in the East, along with the Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets, Toronto Raptors, and Orlando Magic. Doesn't exactly look like a group of death, but let's just start here. What are our thoughts on this NBA in-season tournament? Darnell.
I don't like it.
Thank you.
But I don't like change. And so I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
That's the most information. That's the most detail I've heard so far. I haven't paid attention to it yet. I'm going to dive into it when I get back to Chicago.
Or not.
Yeah, no, I have to. I have to. It's part of my job. And hopefully it's going to add some excitement to the regular season, break up the monotony a little bit. I think over time, fans will probably embrace it and wrap their arms around it, but I think it might take some time for us all to get used to a new format.
And that's kind of what happened with the play-in, right? Everybody was skeptical, and then everybody saw that Nuggets and Wolves game a couple years ago with Jimmy playing for the Timberwolves, and everybody just fell in love with it. So I think people will like it. The thing that I like is that the games are on Tuesdays and Fridays. I think one of the difficult things for a casual fan about the NBA is, like, you don't even necessarily know when your team is playing, as opposed to the NFL, where it's like, I'm going to sit down on Sundays and watch my team play. Right. So I like that they're giving it some structure, and I don't know if it'll like change the competition level. I don't know if guys will be like more or less excited to play for these games. I think once they get to Vegas and they're in the finals, unless you're like the Clippers or something and they're like team load management, then I think guys will get up for it. But I think I'm up for trying new things, and I think it's a good idea to try to find ways to make the regular season more competitive because it is such a slog. Will it work? I'm not sure, but I'm willing to give it a chance.
Yeah, like I don't know how to feel about it. I'm okay trying it. You know what I mean? I'm comfortable with that. And you mentioned the play-in and how well that worked, but I think it also works well because those players know the end goal was trying to get into the playoffs to compete for a championship.
That is the key difference.
So and so of course you get a little different vibe and feel. I don't know what they would feel like competing for this. You know what I mean? Going for whatever trophy is going to be, prize money or whatever they're getting from this. I don't know. I'm going to be watching. I hope it works. I don't mind them trying something new, trying to broaden the game. Like you said, watch your team on a specific date, do all those things like that. But I just don't see it right now, but hopefully it makes sense when it starts, and we'll see how it goes.
And the other thing is, if it was like extra games, that would have been a problem. I think teams would not be.
Oh, and the players would have revolted if it was extra games.
But it's just regular season games that they're adding a little bit more value to, or they're trying.
But
so
that's a problem too for me, though. Like a regular season game where your stats don't count. Like
no, the stats do
count.
No, except for the one game.
So the championship game is played between the winner of the East and the winner of the West, and the stats in that game, which isn't a regular season game, don't count.
It's like the play-in where those stats are separate from the playoff stats or from the regular season stats.
Yeah, it just feels different for me because it's a championship game. I would think it would count in that one, but okay.
I get the whole adding excitement to the slog of the season. And I guess the thing that is nice is being in a mid-season tournament, they crown the mid-season tournament champion in like the second week of December, right? With the semifinals and championship game are here in Vegas, like December 7th through 9th, I think I saw. So like at least it's just over and done with, and then we can focus on the actual back half of the regular season. To me, it's just like I saw a video of Steve Kerr and Trae Young and a few other NBA players doing this great like pull the blanket away reveal of the in-season tournament trophy on Twitter. Yeah. And I was like, oh, great. That's what the NBA needs. It's another dumbass trophy for something that doesn't matter. Like,
Tell them why you're mad, man.
our DNVR Nuggets fam sitting over here at the Legacy Club with us will tell you there's only one trophy that matters.
Talk to him.
There's only one damn trophy that matters. I don't give a crap about a in-season, mid-season tournament trophy. And you can tell the look, the just dead-eyed, emotionless expression on the NBA players they convinced to come do this trophy reveal also don't give a crap about it.
Hey, Matt.
Allie wasn't ready. You weren't ready for that, Allie?
I asked for the record.
Hey, Allie, it's going to be yelling he on here, right?
It would be nice to see the Bulls win something.
It would, but that would get talked about and panned. You know it would.
You're right.
Oh, because you want to in-season tournament. Oh, you're doing something
Just another
now.
reason to run it back one more time.
Well, and the Bulls already took an L, so it's not like they're going to be hoisting the Summer League championship trophy this summer. Aw, shucks. Shout out Denzel, wherever you are. I just... Fine. It's a money grab. Let's all just admit that it's a money grab by the league because these games will be more specifically televised and, ad revenue from these games will bring in more money because they're going to charge companies more money to get ad airtime on these broadcasts.
Dude, the championship is in Vegas. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely about that money.
Get to come back to Vegas, Matt.
Come back.
When the Bulls are in
Send Matt on the in-season tournament
Dude,
trip to Vegas.
I object. I will file a grievance with HR if they make me come to Vegas in December for that meaningless tournament.
Once a year is too
man.
much. Twice a year, I don't know if I can do that.
I am curious to see if it takes off, though.
Yeah,
if people decide that they actually like it. Because, like you said, Darnell, I mean, I'm not a big fan of change either. People were hesitant and skeptical about the play-in tournament, and Bulls fans and, well, I don't know, Bulls fans maybe don't like the play-in tournament after what happened back in April, but I think NBA fans at large have embraced that.
Yeah.
I think to a point it has sort of curbed the NBA's tanking problem that it was trying to address with that play-in tournament. But this isn't about that.
Right.
This isn't about trying to make the league more competitive. It's like they're using this line of making regular season games more competitive because there's something else at stake. Yes, there is a monetary prize, right, for all the players if they win. Mm-hmm. Is it that much at stake, though?
Let me ask you this. What's the downside? Because I think
it annoys me. That's the downside.
He said that's it.
Case in point.
Bang the gavel.
that's it.
We're done. Thank you very much. He's annoyed. Cancel it all.
Well, continue your thought.
Because that's it. Like, what is the downside of trying this? It doesn't affect really anything about the regular season. Again, if they were playing an additional tournament where everybody had to stop regular season play, and in the month of December, they had like a single elimination tournament, that would be different. Maybe more fun, but it would be different. And so I don't think this really changes anything. If they're trying to make more money, it's a business. Like, fine. They are going to reward the players. I think it's an opportunity. We had a chance to talk to Alex Caruso about it before the season ended last year, and he said, like, it could be a really good opportunity for some of these younger players, to get more minutes because these games aren't necessarily going to change, the load management problem necessarily. It could be a chance for some of the younger players to get more minutes on a bigger stage. There could be some positive side effects of it, but I don't really necessarily see any negative ones. And so for that reason, it's like, I'm not bothered by it in the same way.
Matt, how mad are you going to be when Bulls fans say, well, we didn't win the championship, but we won the in-season tournament?
If the Bulls win the mid-season tournament and they try to sell it to us as anything worth a damn, I'm going to be 10x angrier than I just was a second ago. Because, again, there's only one trophy that matters, and it's the Larry O'Brien. And they ruined that, too. God. The remake of the Larry O'Brien trophy?
I don't like it.
Hate it.
I don't like
Just
it.
leave it all gold.
Yeah.
What do you think about the conference finals MVPs?
I don't mind that. That's fine. That doesn't bother me.
Matt hates it. I didn't even need to
Because
ask
it's
him.
changed. Like, look at it.
Matt, let me get this. Are you just not a fan of the participation era, the trophy era?
No.
Matt actually hates everything about the NBA.
I do. I love basketball. I hate business. And when business gets in the way of basketball, it makes me cranky. The conference finals MVP, whatever. Like, to me, finals, you win the championship. As a team, you get the championship trophy.
Yeah.
Finals MVP, you get the finals MVP trophy. Great. And then the regular season MVP, a few scattered other regular season awards.
Sure.
Leave it at that.
I also think there's an element of trying to dilute rings culture, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That the championship is the only thing that matters.
Right.
And so now they're trying to give you an award for conference finals MVP. They're trying to give you an award for all these other things to make it so, when you're arguing player X is better than
Right,
player Y.
right.
Now there's all these other variables to consider.
True.
Whereas, especially as a Bulls fan, 6-0.
Yeah, I'm going to stomp out your argument every time with that.
That's all you need.
It. Bottom line.
That's the only argument I need.
This is the only trophy. It's the
SEI,
only
my
argument
name in
I
the
need,
comments
Sean.
said, all fans are suckers, and I assure you, Peck is still going to watch the game. Of course I am.
Of course.
Because they're also regular season games.
Yeah.
It's our job to
our job,
watch
right.
and
We
talk
gotta
about
watch.
every Bulls game that happens
Yeah.
every season.
We'll be here.
So, sure. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Maybe I'll be convinced. Maybe I'll decide that it is interesting and different, and I like it. But right now, I
Keep
just
the
see
receipts
it
on this show.
as unnecessary. Yeah, feel free to keep the receipts. All right, let's take another break. When we come back, we'll dive into Darnell's thoughts on the Bulls free agent additions of Torrey Craig and Jevon Carter, and just how much that pushes the needle for this Bulls team. While we're sharing these words from our friends and sponsors, if you haven't hit that thumb yet, now's the time. Find the one in the upwards pointing direction
Show it to him, Will.
and click it. Show it to him, Will.
Show him the thumb.
Just
That
like
one
that
right
one.
there.
Ooh, that was a
That
good.
one.
That was a good
Damn.
assertive thumb.
Yeah, little
That's because I
flare.
wasn't paying attention. And then throw it in there.
And make sure you also subscribe to that CHGO Sports YouTube channel.
Yeah.
What's next, Dave?
Foco.
Oh,
That's who it is.
for the Lolo.
Oh, for the low for show. It's Foco. Getting fitted out in the best sports gear around. Get it at Foco. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in betwixt. It's baseball season. You know what you're going to need? Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, because if you're a Sox fan like me, you don't need a winning team. You just need those things. You can enjoy baseball. Oh, God. Help. Everything you need for the game. And when we're on set, Foco gave us some awesome set decorations, man. So quit staring at all this awesomeness and look behind us when we're on set, and you'll see that awesome set decorations and say, wow, that's cool. So show them some love because they showed us some love. Foco.com, that's where you go. Click the link in your description below. That rhymed. For all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO for 10% off because it's Foco. Faux show.
Oh, show. Today's show also brought to you by, of course, Circa Resort and Casino.
But of course.
Here in Las Vegas, every day we find another cool thing about this place. We are doing our show today from the Legacy Club up on the 60th floor, like the penthouse level.
Yeah.
360 view, all glass windows everywhere you look. You see mountains, you see the Vegas skyline, you see Las Vegas Boulevard. The views out here are insane.
Yeah.
And they offer all kinds of cool stuff to hang out at the Legacy Club with you and your friends. You can reserve like a fire pit on their like observation balcony out here. You could do a champagne toast at sunset. Like there's just cool stuff on cool stuff. There's just in a glass case $2 million worth of gold bars
Just
on
chilling.
display.
Just
right
chilling.
around the corner. It's like 20 feet from here. What? Why is that here?
vet
I don't know,
minimum
but
in
it's
one-
really cool.
The vet minimum in one.
The vet minimum is just chilling over there in
how they
neatly
pay gold.
stacked and organized gold bars. Check out the Legacy Club if you come to Circa Resort because this place is awesome.
Yes, it is.
Also, there's some fun gambling opportunities from Circa right around the corner. The Circa Sports Million V and Circa Survivor Pro Football contests are here. NFL is so close to being back. I can't wait. When you're in Vegas, stop by the Circa Sportsbook for a chance to win the $1 million top prize and quarterly prizes throughout the season for Circa Million and an $8 million prize for the last entry standing for Circa Survivor.
Wait, how much? Say that again.
$8 million.
$8 million. I just wanted to hear you say
Four
it again.
times as many millions as there are in gold bars over there.
That's right.
My
That's four
goodness.
vet
Still couldn't
minimums.
afford the GOAT.
And of course, as we showed you yesterday, check out the stadium swim
Yes.
when you're at Circa. Yesterday was just a great day.
It was.
Did a show from our cabana, got to chill in the pool for a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah.
That stadium swim is no joke, man.
It was cool.
Shout out and thank you to Circa Resort and Casino for the wonderful hospitality. Shout out to Aaron, who's just helping us get up to the Legacy Club earlier, and the whole staff here. Amazing facilities, great staff. The next time you come to Vegas, make Circa Resort and Casino your home base, just like we have made it ours for our summer league trip. Man, I think I'll be ready to go home tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I will be a little bit sad to leave this specific place.
Yeah, this is
because
nice.
it is awesome.
I like how Aaron walked us in like a scene from Goodfellas. Like, sit back, bro. That was smooth, dog.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, we got a little VIP access granted to our show here because it doesn't open until 4 p.m. on weekdays.
Oh, and like you said, we ran into Darnell yesterday at the pool as well. He was down there
hanging out. What did you think of Stadium Swim?
That's my first time seeing it. It's awesome. It's expansive. It's impressive. Yeah. It's a lot of scenery out there. I loved it.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's where I will be spending my afternoon.
Will's got his afternoon figured out. Shout out and thanks to our friends at Circa Resort and Casino. All right, moving along to the big picture question on a lot of Bulls fans' minds. And Darnell, we haven't gotten your take on this yet. Torrey Craig and Jevon Carter. I think a lot of people see those free agency additions as help, but enough help, question mark, for a team that won 40 games last season, keeping that same core together, especially Zach and DeMar still here. Vooch re-signed, Kobe re-signed. What are your thoughts on those two guys being added to the mix and just how much it could propel the Bulls to being a playoff team again next year?
They should be a playoff team. They should have been a playoff team this year. I saw Arturas Karnisovas at Saturday's game against Memphis, and I shook his hand. I told him at his press conference, he said he was going to get to work, and he did. I told him nice job getting those veteran guys in here, Jevon Carter and Torrey Craig. I don't know that they're going to move the needle a ton, but the thing that I give the Bulls credit for is that they went out with the cap constraints that they were under. Yes. They went out and did the best that they could have possibly done. And so I give them a ton of credit for that.
Yeah, everything made logical sense of what it got. And like you said, the money, because a lot of people wonder how you're going to get these players, when you're going against this cap. And, you don't want to go into the luxury tax. So how are you going to get these guys, man? And I think all three of the I'm including Vooch in this, all three of the contracts are really good contracts that they signed with them, man. So I like the additions. I feel like I don't think it's like giving you 10 extra wins or nothing like that, but it definitely, for me, makes them a playoff team. A top-5 defense, getting better defensively, and addressing the need at three-point shooting, and getting a point guard, which you cannot operate without one. You got to have a point guard. So getting that there as well, they'll be better.
I think you hit it on the head, Darnell, when you said they did the best they possibly could with the constraints that they had. To bring in two guys who can play really good defense and shoot the ball at a high level, that's what they needed. They needed a guy with size. They got that in Torrey Craig. And then to outbid these other teams without necessarily breaking the bank, right? Because I thought Jevon Carter could get, the full mid-level or closer to it. I thought Torrey Craig would get, at least the biannual exception money, like $4.5 million, to get him for the minimum, to get Jevon Carter for what they got him, like $6.5 million, to bring back Kobe on below the mid-level exception.
The Kobe contract.
Vooch, I thought once you kind of factor in the raises and starting him at 18.5, I thought that was really good. To be able to do all that, stay under the luxury tax, which it is what it is. That's just kind of the truth of the matter at this point. I thought they did really well for what they had. Now, I'm not sure it pushes them to be a 45-win team, but I do think those guys really help maximize Zach, DeMar, and Vooch. Yeah. And last year, those three were swimming upstream. It was just very difficult for them to reach what they needed to be. And they were good enough to have a floor of 38, 40 wins. I expect that floor to be much higher this year. I'm not sure the ceiling really changes. And Darnell, that's something we talked about a lot last year with Vooch, with breaking up that core. I don't think the ceiling really changes, and I imagine you kind of feel the same.
I was trying to be positive, Will.
But you can be positive, right, and say these were really good signings, and they did a great job, which they did. But also, the ceiling isn't really.
No, it hasn't. But if you want me to be negative, we can take it back.
I don't want you to be negative. I want you to be honest.
In my opinion, they should have blown it up. They should. Maybe not blow it up, but trade at least two of those three. Vooch, DeMar, Zach, and go in a different direction. You're starting to get some of these young guys in here, build through the draft, build through some young player development, and stop giving away so much draft capital.
And player options. They love giving those out too.
Yeah, they love a player option.
Like when the Vooch deal got announced, I think Bulls fans were like, all right, well, let's wait and see what the parameters of this 360 are. And then we found out that it was 3 years and 60, fully guaranteed. No team option, also no player option. It's just 3 years 60, and it's descending, right? Just like his previous, it's ascending. It's ascending. So it's like,
but it will raise at, I think, a lower proportion than the cap.
Right, than the cap. So in that sense,
8% raises, the cap is going to raise 10% each.
Right.
The only thing about the Vooch contract is who are they bidding against?
Yeah.
And that's the one criticism that I would – it's a nitpick because you can't just let them go for nothing.
Right.
But there wasn't a big market out there for Vooch.
I think they were bidding against their desire to not insult Vooch if their goal was to keep him.
Yeah.
Which, it's a tightrope to walk because you're going to be like, well, you got any other offers out there for $20 million annually? No? Cool. Would you like 10? You want the mid-level Vooch? It's a tricky game to play.
Yeah.
I think Bulls fans are kind of lukewarm, saying kind of as you were explaining, and as you said, Darnell, best they could in a tough situation. Yes, these guys make them better, but how much better? Our guy Ricky O'Donnell, shout out. Friend of the pod, great guy who does great Bulls coverage and NBA coverage and college hoops coverage for SB Nation. He had a column that just dropped the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it. 6 teams that got better and 3 teams that got worse after NBA free agency. And bless Ricky's heart for all of the negative things he has to say about where the Bulls are headed. He put the Bulls in the got better category with some interesting notes. And I mean, it's not like rainbow and sunshine.
Right.
He's realistic,
Right.
but talks about Carter and Craig being capable three-point shooters. And as you were talking about, Will, the floor raising from how many wins to how many possible wins. The Bulls did address the most drastic need they had and the most drastic flaw of last season's roster with the lack of three-point shooting with both of these guys.
Yeah.
If you get reliable three-point shooting as far as efficiency and volume from both of these guys, Darnell,
Yep.
There are so many games you can name last season, rattle off the top of your head, where if the Bulls knock down a couple more threes, they win that game. And they're not a 40-win team, they're a 46-win team.
Just take a couple more threes and they'd be in the game. Torrey Craig, I loved. I wrote about this last week. If you look at his first 4 games in the first round against the Clippers, he was 10 of 18 from 3. All 10 of those were catch-and-shoot threes off of kicks from Devin Booker or Kevin Durant or Chris Paul. And that's exactly what the Bulls need. We saw 2 years ago in the Bucks series where the Bulls just couldn't make a three-pointer no matter what DeMar DeRozan did, how many times he got guys open. And to have Jevon Carter in here, who's a very improved three-point shooter, and Torrey Craig, who showed a post last year with the Suns from that distance, that's going to help this team tremendously, just having some capable shooters out there as outlet options.
And we have proof of concept that, like, when this team has veterans who know how to defend at a high level and who can help maximize what the Zach DeMar Vooch trio can do, they can do a lot better. I mean, they finished the season 14-9. Like, we kind of, joke about that a little bit, but like they did play a lot better when they had veteran guys who were at a higher level, pushed Pat and Ayo into roles that kind of fit their skill set a little bit better. I really do think they're going to be a much better team. I'm not sure they'll finish on, whatever the 82 game equivalent of a 14-9 record is. But I do think this makes them a lot better. To me, like the bigger concern, even then beyond, not blowing it up this year, is if you sign Vooch for 3 years, does that mean you're locking into this core for 3 more years? So that's like the big question I have. But I do think they'll be a lot better this year. And I absolutely agree with you, Darnell. Like, you really have to credit AK for doing a great job considering the circumstances.
And Darnell, do you think Jevon and Craig will start? Because honestly, those 2 positions are the only ones that aren't solidified in the starting lineup, because Patrick Williams didn't take that position, and the point guard position has just been open
and
for a
Kobe
while.
coming back on a new contract.
Correct.
Those 2 competing, him and Jevon, for starting in training camp probably.
Yeah. I like Kobe White's playmaking a lot more than Jevon Carter's. Torrey Craig, I would think the Bulls will be making a mistake if they started Torrey Craig over Patrick Williams. You don't draft this guy 4th overall and then continue to let him play, put the ball in his hands, give him opportunities to showcase what he can do, and not just defer to DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine and Vucevic. But it's a battle. I think they're going to have to go into camp and battle it out. I don't think that Billy Donovan should just say, Jevon, this is your job, or Kobe, this is your job because you're making more money. Put the best player in that spot and see what happens.
Yeah.
We got people in the comments offering their takes on just how much better the Bulls got with Craig and Carter. Gary Blackwell, C-Red UK, said, let's see what they have cooking before we spit the meal out. It might be something you don't expect. That sounds like something you would say, Dave.
Because I've said it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Meanwhile, Dupes with a different take saying, F positivity, I'd rather hear about reality. I could respect that.
I think that is reality, right? Like, they are going to be better.
Right.
They really are.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Rainbows up here.
Ibrahim in the comments said, I think they raised the floor of the Bulls. Being a top 5 team in the East could really help them go through the first round. And that is true, and I think that's something a lot of Bulls fans were quick to forget is, like, if Lonzo and his departure doesn't have the Bulls crumble in the final third of the season, the Bulls aren't a 6 seed and get matched up with Milwaukee in the first round. They get matched up with a much better, easier matchup in the first round. Yeah. And we're not that far removed from that happening. Also, Ibrahim, if that's the Ibrahim that we met when we were out there in Paris, shout out, buddy. Bro. Good to see you in the comments again.
My man.
AK, what's up, AK? Bulls have 3 players that command double teams, pack the paint. Now, if you double, Carter or Craig can hit open threes. So used to be doing that.
What a concept.
The 3-point release valve. Bulls got better. Yeah, exactly. Like it's not hard. It's not complicated. Yeah. The Bulls had no one to kick out to.
Yeah.
Because when they did kick out, whoever got that ball was like, well, I'm too afraid to shoot this 3.
And they signed Goran Dragic and Andre Drummond last year when we all knew that they needed this. And so to see AK finally go out there and address it, again, credit to AK for finally doing it exactly what this team needs.
Yes, but weren't those handful of Dragic to Drummond lobs just totally worth it, Darnell?
They were fun while they lasted.
They were, the Dramagic was beautiful while it lasted. Speaking of giving AK a little bit of credit where it's due for making solid signings in a tight spot, I know you were there hearing what he had to say draft night after taking Julian Phillips, and there were questions being asked in AK's direction of, what's the plan? How are y'all going to get better? Are you going to go into the luxury tax to get better? And AK's answer to everybody who was there was basically like, just wait. Just wait. He sounded very cocky, confident, and dismissive of what I thought were valid questions that y'all were asking him. Do you think the additions of Carter and Craig validate the way AK handled those questions on draft night?
No. You got to do a lot more than Jevon Carter and Torrey Craig to validate the arrogance or cockiness that he did exhibit that day. But again, you do have to give him credit because they did not have a ton of resources available. They didn't have a lot of avenues to be able to improve the team, and then they did with defense, 3-point shooting, depth, size at the position, the 3 and 4 position. So they did a lot of things well, but they're still not a top 4 seed.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they're still hovering around that 6, maybe even 7.
Right.
With these
I say 6.
Right here. Yeah, I do too. I say 6. It's just going to be interesting to watch because I expect it to be better. But like you said, I don't expect it to be world-beating. But I am happy I get to watch Jevon Carter actually because he can create his own shot as well. And that's something else that Lonzo did. When the lull was happening at points in time during the game, he just come down and shoot a 3. He'll create his own shot and do that.
They also kind of protect themselves against injury in a way that they kind of needed to. Like last year they had really good injury luck, obviously, Lonzo aside.
Yeah.
Vooch played all 82. Pat played 82.
Yeah.
Zach, 77, I think. DeMar, 74. Let's say those guys don't play as many games. The bottom's not going to fall out the way that it did 2 seasons ago when Lonzo went down. They just completely fell apart. I think they position themselves better to be able to maintain and sustain against injuries, which they're going to make a push for a real playoff seed. That's kind of what they need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, 43 to 48 wins, butts and seats in one playoff series. That is right in Jerry's wheelhouse. That's what we're looking for.
We
got one super chat here from our guy AK. Do you expect Ayo to be in a Bulls uniform at the start of training camp, or is Ayo overplaying his value with a longer-term contract? Ask. Did we hear that the QO has?
We don't know about that.
We don't know.
Do you have any thoughts or opinions on that?
I believe that they're trying to make Ayo go out and get a contract.
Yeah.
They want him to go out and prove that he can get a deal, and if he can, then they have the choice to decide if they're going to match it or not. But if not, I think they want to try to bring him back as inexpensively as possible, and Ayo might have to play on that qualifying offer. But I like Ayo. I'm glad AK brought that up.
We do too. Ayo's our guy.
I mentioned Torrey Craig taking potential minutes from Dalen Terry, but you got to think about Jevon Carter now taking minutes from Ayo if he's back. And you can say what you want about Ayo's second season being down, but I remember what he did as a rookie.
Yeah.
And he went into the Boston Garden and defended Jason Tatum and defended Jaylen Brown. He went 10 for 10 on the road in a big game. So you don't just throw that away. You can't just dismiss that. I think Ayo has a bright future, and the Bulls should be developing him for the future.
Especially with these young guys. You're not in a position to throw away young talent when you're a team that's core is aging.
We got to get out of here, guys, and pass the set to the DMVR Nuggets crew coming up next. But before we let you go, Darnell, real quick, I know Bulls fans know and love your coverage for the Bulls for The Athletic, but you also have this side hustle you're working on, Money Talks. You want to give that a quick plug before we get out of here?
Yeah, appreciate you asking. It's moneytalks101.substack.com. It's an independent passion project that I'm doing. It's about earning and spending, saving and investing, a lot of things that a lot of us don't talk about because we're not comfortable talking about money. But I started this for my 9-year-old daughter and trying to teach her early so that she won't become an old person like me trying to figure this stuff out. So I'm giving a transparent look at my life, my spending, how I just wrote a column this morning about how I spent the last 5 days in Vegas and tried not to overindulge and overspend. So if you want to take a look at a transparent behind-the-scenes peek at someone's personal lifestyle, how they spend, how they save, how they invest, come check me out at moneytalks101.substack.com.
There you heard it, Bulls Nation. Check it out. I need to check it out. I'm afraid to look at my bank statement.
We got to get all. Will's a subscriber. We got to get Dave. Are you a subscriber?
Yeah, subscribe.
Dave, subscribe. Matt.
Right after our show.
Can I count on you to subscribe?
Dude,
my man.
I'm signing up as soon as this episode's over. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thanks again to our guest, the wonderful Darnell Mayberry of The Athletic. You know him. You can follow him at Darnell Mayberry on Twitter if you aren't already. Will the Go Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb, Big Dave, Bow, BWO Sports, Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls, hashtag CHGO Vegas. We are here for one more day. We will have one more show for y'all tomorrow morning before we get on that plane and head back to Chicago. Hope y'all have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Shout out and appreciation to our production crew, Marissa and Allie.
Yes.
We out. Nuggets up next. See Red be good.
Peace.
Thanks, Shady Rays.